So do you agree, like, Mary Catherine, I think it was essentially saying, America is great for all these various opinions, diversification of thought, that was maybe wrong for Google, despite the fact that maybe we don't all agree with what this guy said, he's allowed to say it. Do you think he was allowed to say that, where he's essentially saying, well, I don't really like women anywhere near a computer, and should he have been fired for it? Liz?
I find it interesting that he felt comfortable sharing this with people at the company in the way that I felt that it was interesting, when stuff came out of the culture at Uber that was, enabled systemic sexual harassment, and the sort of things that I think a lot of men felt like they could say and do were not appropriate. I do wonder what kind of culture exists at Google that made a white man who's in a senior position, engineer at one of the most, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, feel threatened by a few diversity programs, and then want to share that with and write 10 pages about it, and fear it and it have leaked in the way that it had, and think that there'd be no consequences.
But isn't a piece of this, Mary Catherine, this is directed to you, where this software engineer, he had hiring power. I mean, he could impact the empowerment of women. And again, I go back to paraphrasing. This is a guy who's basically saying, I don't like women around computers. Whether it's peer reviews.
I actually, Brooke, and I often disagree with you in like very jovial way, and I just totally disagree with the characterization that that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
he wasn't saying, and that's why I disagree with the reaction to this. If it were what you were saying, I would be more on board with Liz's point of view. But look, I think we're saying, look, this is a valuable conversation to have, and I agree. One of the things that this person was bringing to the table was that perhaps part of diversity is ideological diversity as well. And ironically, and which no one seems to recognize the blinding irony of this, he was saying one of the problems with Google is that we are perhaps in this like ideologically insular bubble that is so insular that people like me feel silenced and don't want to bring our opinions to the forefront. And then wait a second, in response to that, his dissenting opinion, it was leaked to punish him, and then he was fired for it having been leaked.